this unit that we're working on is actually a ninth grade unit that we're working on. And it is talking about the unit that deals with mobile app design and how we are going to use critical thinking and problem solving to solve a problem by the development of an app. So one of the things I want to do today is I want to be able to take a look at where you are, and I want to see what your thinking is, what your thought process is, and make sure that we have included all that we've spoken about so far. So the first thing is our standard is about development, testing, programming. We've talked about coding. We've gone through looking at binary and understanding the binary codes and how to move them from decimal to binary, and then how to convert them back from binary to decimals. And for the most part, I think you did pretty well with that. For this map this mobile app that you're designing now, just a reminder of what it looks like and what we're trying to accomplish. So really and truly, we have to know, how does computer science link with problem solving and your thinking skills, your ability to think critically? Because that ties in directly to the development of your mobile app, okay? Also, when we think about the computer science component, you went to code.org and you joined the class there. And do you remember going through your problem solving video and learning about problem solving? Does that sound remotely familiar to most of you? I would hope so.
Yes.
Okay, so in that problem solving, you're able to take some of the things that you learned there and apply them to this task that has been set out before you. So in designing your mobile app, you were given a couple of critical areas to look at. You had to come up with something that was in your community, because we want real world problems. When you start working with real world problems, you can connect your learning in a very different way. So your real world problems could be in your school, something you want to improve, something you don't like. And I noticed that a number of people came up with the school lunch, so we're going to talk about that. Something that's in your community that you think you would like to improve, or something that you feel very strongly about. And I've seen some really amazing work up to this point. I really have, and I'm really looking forward to being able to talk to each of you and just, see what help you need and help you with your thought process. But I just want to remind you that as you continue to develop your apps, think about the process here. Let's look at the computer science component, because you need to think about the input, you need to think about the processing, and you need to think about the output. And also, this assignment is asking for you to consider the storage. So we looked at a quick example of, for me, it was going to be a cause that's dear to me, something I care about a lot, and that's about animals. So I had to think about, okay, so what would the input be? Well, for me, input is going to be potential adopters, because I'm looking at the animal shelters that are so filled. And I don't like the idea that after a certain number of days, an animal is euthanized if they can't find a home for it. So I feel like if I could develop a mobile app that would take potential adopters, find out who they are. So now that would be my input coming in. And some of the things that I considered was their name. I need to know who they are. I need to know a little bit about their background, also their housing situation, because I want to know if these dogs have the ability to go outside, if there's any green area for them, and what their interests and personalities, that kind of information, right? Also, where they live. And that's important because I'm looking at the shelters in that area near to where they live as well. So my processing is gonna be a matching process. I have dogs in this shelter. Here, over here, I have a number of people who say they're interested in adopting, and it's relatively near, it's relatively in their area. So this processing part is gonna be doing a matching. My storage, you know that I would have to store all this information about them. I need to know who they are, I need to know where the shelters are, I need to know what dogs are available, okay? So all of that goes into the storage, okay? Now, the output for me, what do apps always put out? Notifications. So now the notifications, the push notifications that go out from the apps could be, in this case, I could be alerting people about dogs that are available to be adopted. I could be sending out the information. What type of dog is it? How old is it? Is it like a little puppy? Has it been trained? Has it been spayed or neutered? All of that information I can push out so that it can help someone make a decision on whether they want to adopt or not. So that is the input, processing, and output. And now the storage, you know the information I'm going to store. So as we put all of this together now, we're looking at critical thinking, we're looking at problem solving, because you're coming up with a problem that you see that you want solved. So we're going to use our critical thinking skills along with that as we think critically about the problem. So what I want to do is I want to take a look now at your thinking, and I want to see some of your projects. I want to see those who maybe want to share. So I'll just put this over here. Thank you for holding it up for me. And I think we'll use this area right here. So who's my first group? Who is my first group? Maya? Come on then. So you're working, I know that you're working in partners, there's two of you. I just want to make sure that we can see everything right here. Yep. So let's just make sure we're good here. And, oh, you need enough to share here? We can put it on the table. Uh-huh. Have a seat right here. Come around this way a bit. I'll move my computer out your way so you've got all the room in here. All right, so tell me about yours. What do we have?
Well, I problem solved the situation where students skipping. We're trying to solve the problem of students skipping. So,
Students skipping. That's a problem all over, huh?
yeah.
All right.
So we created an app to help teachers track their students when they're out in the hallway or passes. Like, you know how a student go get a pass and never come back? We created an app to fix that problem. So we put out some steps, and one, the first step is processing, which is counting down the time that the student has been given. The input was scanning the student card.
Ooh, that's like the student IDs? Okay.
Basically, the student ID, it has the student ID, has the student schedule and the teacher schedule in it. The storage is how many times students' cards have been used. So they'll know, like, if it's time.
What the marker said.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's right here.
And it's how many times the student's app has been used, or how many times a teacher put in time for the student. Say, for instance, the student kept going back to back to the restroom each period. Administrators can even track that. Use that as evidence, stuff like that.
The output was notify the teacher if the student has been out for the time that they've been overused, like, and the time that they've really been overused is like 5 minutes. So if you go over like 2 minutes, it's gonna notify you, and then if you still don't go to class, they notify your teacher.
So then the teachers have the app, and you're saying the students have the app?
Yeah.
Okay. So like if an administrator stops out in the corridor and they see a student, it really doesn't matter. They don't have to walk around with these paper passes anymore then, right? That's awesome.
Especially because now everybody's stuck on technology.
Yeah. So it's like getting with the program.
So this is a way to bring technology into a process that really is kind of outdated, because the thing that bothers me most of all is if I'm teaching something, if I'm working with someone and somebody says, I need a pass to go to the restroom, or I need a pass for anything, I've got to stop doing what I'm doing. And then I have to
Yeah, all you need
write
to
a
do
pass.
is go to ask the student to pull up his QR code,
Uh-huh.
and you scan it with your phone, and
Uh-huh.
the app is going to show you the student thing. You're going to log in the time they need and where they're going,
Right.
and then you press start. That's the time start. And it
Oh,
goes.
wow. That is awesome. So I don't have to worry about writing times, checking when they come back, because that's another thing. Because if you're teaching something, you can't be monitoring time. This person left at this time and they're not back yet. That's awesome. So what is this going to look like? What's your logo? What's it going to look like?
I have one on paper, but
Uh-huh.
now I actually created one on my phone.
You created the logo for real?
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Can we see it?
Yeah. This is the logo.
Let's see if I can bring it a little closer. Oh my goodness. You created this?
Yeah.
This is awesome. I love it. The apple for the teacher, the footprint, and the magnify. That is what I call some good thinking right there.
Thank you.
I think that you are on a really good pathway. I like that you've got your input, your processing, and your output, and your storage area though. What are you storing?
How many times the student has been using it,
Uh-huh.
and how the classes they've been using it, all that.
Okay, so here's a thought. For your storage, you possibly may need to use, store the teachers' rosters, and then store, the student schedules, because
Okay.
then you can match them. And then you could actually personalize your message. Dr. Fingal, Nicholas is on his way back to your class. He should be back by X time. So that would just give me a push notification of that information, right? Okay. Yeah. Consider that what you would need to be able to personalize it like that. And I think you are really on. I can't wait to see this.
Thank you.
Thanks. Who's next? Who else do we have to look at?
I'll take a
So
note.
much, yeah, thanks a lot. So keep your notes and just incorporate them into your design so far. And then, as soon as you're ready, you can get your poster board, and then you can start transferring. What we did was, we have a few more here that would cut, Maya, if you want to use these ones, because we cut the two sides off, so that you can just use that center portion right here, yeah. You can just use that, and then you can put your designs on there, so that saves you having to cut them.
Thank you.
So now I've got Sanaya and Anaya. Have a seat here for me. All right, so what are we talking about? What was your design?
We designed an emotional support app called EMSU, and
Whoa,
EM is emotional, and then SU is support, so we just named it EMSU.
wow. I like it so far. Go ahead, tell me about it.
Okay. So like when you first come on, it's gonna ask you like all these questions like, hi, what's your name? You type in your name, and then how old are you? You type in your age, and then this is a daily question. So each time you log on to each time you open the app, you'll be asked how you're feeling, and then you choose one. Then also, why are you feeling this way?
Okay.
And then also it says what school do you go to? So like we can contact your teachers, we can go to the teacher's phone and stuff. And then we got, have you eaten today?
Eating today, yeah.
So for the what school do you go to, we're adding more information to it. So like friends that go to the same school, if you can add them, or even join a class for a teacher. So joining a class will be easy, so then the teacher would have your emotion.
Oh my goodness.
So they know how to handle like that emotion that day. And then also over here, we have different people that they could talk to.
It's AI.
AI.
Oh, AI.
AI's okay.
Yes, and then so they can text and you can be like, oh hi, and then whichever one you choose because they're different ages,
Yeah,
different
yeah.
genders and stuff like that, and you can choose one. So you say, hi, I'm Emma, and then hello, and then I heard, and they take this information and say it, and then say, I heard you're feeling this emotion today.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about it? What can I help you with?
Uh-huh.
Go into a deeper explanation of why you're feeling this way, and then just like a whole chat, and it gives you somebody to talk to. And
So this is your processing.
yes.
So you're pulling in this input. This is awesome. This is really awesome. Let me ask you this. So I know that this fits right into the category of a cause that you feel strongly about. What is it that makes you go directly to this area?
Well, a lot of teachers don't know what goes on with like each student and how they are. So it's just good to know what their emotion is. And so it's like, oh, they're having a really bad day today.
So
Let
like,
me act accordingly. And even teachers too, like, oh, you're having a really bad day today. Let me have the decency to act accordingly for your day.
because you
Right.
know, like some kids might come to school sad. They might put their head down, and the teacher might be like,
Oh, put your head up, and then they're mad, but in
so
really,
right, they really going through things. So like, this would be an app to help the
Yes.
teachers know what's going on.
This, why I think this is so powerful is, I can see the thinking that you've done about this. You've stepped through the actual pathway that students travel through, and you are the experts in that area. But I like how you've crossed over into how teachers get involved in this, because this in particular, joining a class, connecting students, because it's not like we all have these different problems. Sometimes we feel like we're all by ourselves in this, but there are times when we know that there's somebody else who's going through it, and you can kind of link with them and support one another.
and
So,
joining the class, none of the information when you come here and tell each person about how you're feeling, into depth about it, none of that would be spread into the class. Now you can share it with your teacher if you want to, but none of the friends or anything like that wouldn't be shared. Only which emotion you're feeling today.
I'm so glad you said that, because that was my next concern. What is the level of information that's being shared between students? Because just like we can't talk about grades, I can't talk to you about your grade in front of Anaya or pull up the grade book. By the same token, I know a student doesn't want to have all of their information out there, so I'm glad that you are thinking that way and that you're addressing that. Tell me about your notifications. These look interesting.
So basically, it depends on your situation.
So your input determines the notification that you get.
So like, say like you feeling sad or angry today, or you might feel stressed today, and one day will be like, you are strong, keep going, you got this, and then
One is like, make sure you drink water today. Just different positive.
one day at a
things.
time.
Your patience is your power, and different. This wouldn't be all of them, but these are just a few examples of what it would be.
So let me ask you this. Are you pushing your notifications according to your input here?
Yes.
So these are being aligned, these messages are being aligned to what you're feeling today. That's really good, yeah.
And then this is our logo over here. It's a
Just make sure you do. Let's just put the logo up. Oh, wow. Let's see. Here's the logo. Tell me about this logo. What is the rationale? What's your thinking behind this?
Because it's an emotional support app, we just use two different emotions and just went side by side. So first it's a smiley face, and then it's a sad face. So it just shows the two different emotions. And it's just simple.
Something I would wonder, here at Banneker, we have a safe center. Is there any way that we could incorporate their services, like based on emotion and maybe based on what they say here? Is there a way that you could maybe refer them or even send a push notification to
Yes.
the Safe Center?
So if, depending on their emotion, what they talk about, it can even be advised in the, would you like me to set up an appointment with you to go to the Safe Center? Yeah.
And even if the Safe Center has the app,
Mhm.
and they're involved and they're seeing all of this, maybe they'll even push a notification out to the student,
Right.
right? This is what I would call amazing. And I really like what you've done so far. And the truth be known, I would really like to see this app developed and in use. Because when you say, what school do you go to? This points to the fact that this is not just a Banneker app. This is an app that can be used any school across this district, across this country, and I'm going to say across the world, internationally. Because in summer in Germany, I saw something very similar to this last year. The students had developed this like an emotion card. And what they did was they had all of the emotions, maybe the names were a little different, but they covered the emotions and they allowed students, like it may say, I need a hug. So if the student comes in and pulls the emotion card that says, I need a hug, then everybody sees it, and then everybody's going to be like, hugging the student, right?
Only if they were a hug person, that's why they
Exactly. But what they did, they took it a step further. They took these cards when they developed them, and they went downtown to a homeless area, and they actually gave them the cards and let them pull what they want, and then the students were able to kind of like minister to what these individuals, these people were feeling. So
It's just, it gives, it brings mental health and mental wellness into the schools.
Because mental health is very important. It's
Right.
very
So I would say that what you could think about doing, and this is thinking ahead, I think you could look at some statistics to support this, to support the need for it. I know for a fact that this is very much needed. In this school, young people today are carrying backpacks that are very heavy, and they're not heavy with books. They're heavy with emotional issues. You may see somebody smiling, but that doesn't mean that inside they're smiling. You don't know what they're going through. The suicide rate is so elevated, and kids are just going through a lot. So an opportunity like this, because this is private, this is personal. Nobody knows that you're on the app, because kids are
Except the
always on
other
the phone.
people that are on
And they have reason to be on the app, right?
It might,
But like,
it might be the people that's smiling the hardest and just laughing it off, and they be on this app every day.
yeah. I am really impressed with what you have done. And I'm telling you that I would like to see this app in production, because I can see how this will help so many kids. So I want you to continue with the development of what you have so far. I like how you brought in the AI. That was really cool as well. Coupled with social emotional learning. You've done an outstanding job. Don't let it end here. All right? Okay. So if you want to get your board, you can also take one that's pre-cut. That way you don't have to worry about cutting your own. And we'll continue. It's cut. It was actually a trifold, but we cut it into. We just cut the ends off. So now you just have that mid section to design everything in.